and to the poets and other writers for boldly sharing their work. I'm so happy to be amongst you all. As Jerry noted, my name is January Nicole Wilson. I published 7 collections of poetry, and today I'll read from 5 of them. First up is a poem from one of my books, The Lily The Aster. This book contains haiku, short poems, and travel essays. What follows is a short poem, just a little reminder of spring. It depicts the gorgeous physique of a favorite tree of the season, the cherry blossom. Here's the poem. Cherry blossom, whose trunk, the gnarled hand, unfolds handsomely into fingers, delicate digits, reaching skyward, pink petals, blossoming emphatically, flowering eternally into story. The next poem I'd like to read is from another book of mine entitled Love Emphatically. This book is full of love poems. This particular poem is called Like Frost in the Soil. Love poem. Our love is like a crescent moon on a warm summer night, hugging the black, incandescent darkness in a plume of rare red hubris. Our love is a child on the edge of a pond in spring, dreaming the yellow mysteries of the days to come. Our love is like the wind upon the Ides of March, roaring in ferociously on the coattails of winter. Our love, like frost in the soil, breaking the weakest buds, but urging the strong on triumphantly, forcing magnificent spring buds. Our love is a long river running, tumbling over rocks and hills, no obstacle parallel to our love's mighty will. This next poem is entitled Edifice. It's from my 6th book, The Words That Breathe, from a chapter entitled Profile. It's a character sketch of someone I encountered on my travels. Here it is. She is tough, like the brown skin, weathering time over her face. The clothes she wears are hand-me-downs, right down to the oversized sneakers adorning her feet. Her hair is short, cropped, natural, and respectful. Her eyes, too, are hand-me-downs from her father and his father before him. Long ago, she left her father's side to seek new roads beyond the church. Now, grown prodigal, her back curls and her hair grays. But I see a story in the way that she chews fruit and spits out the pit. I hear a sage in her easy words and quick wit. She's an edifice of the street, raining down on the young, preaching to those keen enough to listen. The next poem I would like to read is also from my 6th book of poetry, The Words That Breathe. This poem recounts an experience I had while visiting my alma mater, Brown University, for literary colloquium. One of the speakers spent years as an editor for hip-hop magazines like The Source and Vibe, and discussed his multiple trips to various African countries over a period of 15 years. He traveled for work and on personal business, in search of the deep and abiding connections between contemporary African American experience and those of Africans. His remarks were enlightening. The speaker noted that in his work as a magazine editor, he has been a close witness to the evolution of hip-hop from, quote, an outlaw culture from the Bronx into, quote, the global culture of people of a certain age. Based on his extensive travels across the continent of Africa, he suggested that hip-hop culture is evidence of Africa reconstructed in modern idioms. He added that if one were to subtract the pathology of slavery from hip-hop, one could see African history and culture manifested in the art form. The following poem is about this encounter with the speaker and my thoughts and identification with his experiences in Africa. Here's a poem entitled The Africanist. Long brown dreadlocks are carefully knitted into a bun on the back of your head. Camouflage pants, a corduroy blazer, and a coordinating brown vest adorn you. What you utter. Hip-hop is Africa reconstructed in modern idioms. A traveler you were, across a welcoming continent, one with roots reaching across an ocean. This is Africa. Tribes, races, ethnicities, dialects, Pigeons, and Creoles. What did you see in your 15 years of observation, of travel? How I wish to know you and to hold you in the way that Africa could. From a distance, my cold stare belies a warm curiosity about your new dreams, made new by your journalistic questioning. Your new eyes, which see differently, a respect, an enlightenment gifted the few. You are blessed to know anew that some of your brothers are an ocean away, singing songs for you, dancing, worshiping, praying for you, and your brothers who are here on this continent. Those who whine and scream in abject chains they are not meant for, but for some 400 years they've known these chains. Who will ignite the flames that light the path toward an extraordinary knowing of ourselves and where we come from? Who we are and who we were remain in question. Open the jail cells here in this land and point your brothers toward knowing. The next book I want to present for you is called A Poet Speaks of Empire. This book is about the great diversity and new hope born on a continent so well known for war and corruption. For years I have read and researched life on the continent of Africa, all in an effort to better understand the rise and fall of empire, the tides of history. In fact, this particular book was inspired by 3 months I spent working in Kumasi, Ghana, in West Africa. Today, Africa may be considered among the poorest continents economically, but the future whispers of profound change and considerable development. This book captures a moment in the history of Africa, on the precipice of a new era. The next poem I'd like to read for you is called, like the book, A Poet Speaks of Empire. This poem is a rallying cry, a call to action for all segments of society. Seize the new day, bright with opportunity. Here's the poem. From the depths of a frightening bottom arises the promise of heights only imagined by history. Mansa Musa could not dream of the hopes for tomorrow. From the horrors of a beleaguered past, besmeared with the sail of an aging dynasty and its people, rises a cypress. Now compelled by the grip of an ancient longing, a rising bourgeoisie breathes free. New and constant inhalations catch the scent of a budding era, fresh on the heels of broken beginnings. Arise, O great continent, arise. A new age beckons your voice, your voyage. Arise, village, arise, nation, arise, continent. Children seek their inheritance. A grand past makes this generation eager for a magnificent future, bearing fruit to feed a multitude, electrifying shanty grids, irrigating drought-wrought farms, transporting goods and services, delivering to markets beyond the horizon. Rise to the moment, ancient griot, storied marabou, revolutionary warrior, rich farmer. Bring your alms, your drums, your ghosts, and your songs. The children of today must carry on traditions older than time, ripe as the sea. My latest collection of poetry, songs, and sketches is about storytelling through verse. In this book, I favor long, descriptive poems which meld themes of family, faith, and history. The following poem, entitled A Prayer Before Sunset, concerns the mysterious work of the muse for a painter friend of mine. Here's the poem. She gathers her wares for a prayer before sunset. She prepares to connect to what is divine. From mind to hands, her body is a vessel. Hallowed things travel through her. Unexpected faces appear at the end of her paintbrush. On her once blank canvas, people crop up, pulling out of shadows, faces of flesh and tears, calloused hard hands, hats and ties, dresses and heels, appear to the naked eye like shells out of sand-covered shores, unearthed by waves and the muses calling. Finally, I'll read a poem from my collection of poetry entitled Love Emphatically. This book is at once a story of love and loss, as well as a celebration of the loves of my life. The following poem is focused on love of family and is dedicated to my brother and cousin. Here's a poem, New Heights. As a unit, we march forward. We march against time and obstacles. We hold tightly to one another, gripping hands but still marching, quick up this new hill, this new challenge, this new day. quick to gather our worries and make still our souls. This new generation is light of foot and quick of mind. We saw problems that plagued our grandparents. In this, our new time, our new day, we rise and elevate loved ones to new heights of joy and of freedom. Brazen hearts blaze in the heat of the sun, under the great bold brightness of the sun. And we win battles now. Nothing can stop us now. We arrive, ever arriving, the finish line in our sights. A vision, a dream, and once upon a time, we were slaves. Thank you.